Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Careful for Spoilers. I am your host, James Bonds, and today, guys, I am joined by one of my really good friends. She is a comic book enthusiast and one of the funniest people that I have ever met on the entire planet, and we are here to talk about everything Wonder Woman. Let's get rolling. Welcome back, guys, to the Careful for Spoilers podcast. I am joined today by a great friend of mine, Lola. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. We are gathered here today to talk about all things Wonder Woman, and I want to get all of your thoughts. So let me know what you think.
So many thoughts. Where do we even start?
Start at the beginning.
I loved it.
Okay.
And that's a big deal for me, because I haven't loved a DC movie in so long that I was actually frightened for a year before Wonder Woman came out, because I was like, they're going to ruin Wonder Woman, and then I'm not going to have the emotional energy for the rest of 2017 because it's going to be too hard. But I loved it. I loved everything about it. I just thought it was awesome.
Yeah, Patty Jenkins, I'm confident in her ability to direct, and I wasn't worried at all.
She did such a good job.
Yeah.
Such a good job. And I was really impressed with Gal. How do we say her name?
Gal.
Is it Godot or Godot? Because I've seen it 7 different ways.
Or Godot.
Godot.
Yeah.
That's stressful.
Yeah.
She did amazing with it. I remember once when I was younger, there was talk of doing a Wonder Woman movie with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh my God.
I remember being small and being like my butthole clenching. Like, that is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And so there was really no actress that I was like, she's definitely Wonder Woman. She's going to do a great job.
You know who I thought of? Jamie Alexander.
I don't like her face.
Really?
I just don't like her face. And you know why? And this is probably a whole different podcast, and I know it's not her fault, but what they did with her as Sif in Thor, again, not her fault. She didn't write the script.
That's why she should be Wonder Woman, to be redeemed, because she's badass.
I think that if you are truly badass, you stand up in the script reading and you say, can a bitch get 2 more lines? Like, you are the goddess of war. Like, get your life together and stop having a crush on a blonde dude and just, like, go do something better. That I can't with that. So, but I was thrilled with the way that she played Wonder Woman. She just really, I thought, caught a lot of the energy and the strength plus naivete that Wonder Woman has.
Right.
That kind of vulnerability and that sweetness hidden within this chick that will just murder you. And that's rare. And it's not something that I think a lot of female superheroes are allowed to do on screen.
Yeah.
If you compare her to Black Widow, even in the Avengers movies, like, people were rioting in the streets when she had that romance with Bruce Banner because...
The multiple romances?
Yeah. There was a lot. Like, that's all she was. You know what I mean? She wasn't more than two-dimensional. And she brought so much to Wonder Woman. It was amazing.
Yeah. Like, everything on Themyscira was beautiful.
Beautiful.
The cinematography was insane.
I would have loved to have hung out there a little bit longer, to tell you the truth. I loved that it started there, and it started with her as a child, and it grew you up kind of with her and through her eyes on the island. And
how adorable was that kid?
That kid was cute. I don't even like kids, and that kid was cute. Like... I would definitely not want to train that kid to be a warrior if I were her mom either. I would want to just, like, take long walks on the beach with her and talk to her about, like, how she could continue to be the ruler of Themyscira her whole life. I would not have wanted to put a sword in her hands.
Yeah.
But that was amazing to watch the Amazons train and fight. So often in superhero movies, they just are all of a sudden amazing. Yeah, Superman doesn't learn how to do anything. Unless you stuck around for all 15 seasons of Smallville, but I just didn't have the time for that. I had a life. But he just kind of shows up and he's amazing, or Hulk is just amazing when he turns into that. And they don't really ever show Iron Man training. Batman, and of course the Green Arrow show, they do it right. But to actually watch the Amazons train and all the women that they cast, the professional athletes, how strong they were. I mean, I can't even imagine. I did 40 minutes of power yoga for abs this morning, and I found 2 hidden places at work to cry today. So I don't even know how they trained for that.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. It was wonderful. It was such a beautiful area that they shot in. They brought it to life so well. It never looked cheesy or CGI, which is a problem that I've had with a lot of the last few years of DC movies. They've just been awful. When it comes to fake CGI environments.
I will say some of the cuts with her stunt double, it's like you can tell she had more than one, and you can see them coming in with the fight sequences in the beginning.
See, I didn't catch it that much in the beginning. I got a little annoyed towards the end with stuff.
Okay.
But again, the end, and you knew that this was coming because you've met me, veered very much into Zack Snyder's aesthetic.
Oh, for sure.
And you could just see Patty Jenkins kind of drop off the map. Or you could see the DC... I don't know who runs the DC universe for movies.
Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns. I could see him kind of calling her up and being like, hey, Zack in these scenes likes to have this. And you could see her being either kind of more CGI'd than usual or being a stunt double.
Yeah.
And that... It had been built up so well in the first, I would say, 3/4 of the movie that it didn't bother me as much as it does in Snyder's films, where it's just the entire aesthetic and that's all that happens. And it was a little jarring, though. It took me out of the movie just a little bit.
Okay, but before we talk about the end...
You got it. Let's move it back.
Chris Pine as Steve Trevor.
Ooh.
Thoughts?
I love him. Okay, well, you're giggling because obviously I'm making a face. Yeah, he's fine, man. I mean, he's a beautiful human being, but he played Steve Trevor so well. And the Steve Trevor that I remember in the comics, especially Golden Age Steve Trevor, was very kind of, I hate to say this, but very kind of dumb and aloof and couldn't really, he suffered from Lois Lane disease, where the most beautiful woman in the world puts on a pair of glasses. Loved that line, by the way. And he couldn't recognize that it was this Amazonian super queen that he's been lusting after, and...
yeah, she couldn't possibly be beautiful with glasses.
Okay, you know what I mean? It's not like me putting glasses on and waking up in the morning and looking like a trash panda. It's like, she's amazing. She's gorgeous. She put a pair of spectacles on. She's still extremely better than anyone else around her. But he brought such a great, charm, and... I thought they played their relationship really well. The way that they both just really seemed to respect each other. The chemistry was really well done between them. He brought a lot of levity to the movie, which has been so missing in DC films. I shouldn't need a therapy session after watching a superhero film.
Yeah.
The boat scene.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Which a lot of it was improv.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great casting on both of their parts, and I thought it was amazing to see. They don't always get romance right in comic book movies. They usually go too far one way or the other. They usually make one half of the relationship very, very weak.
Yeah.
But they were very well balanced, and I don't mean in a physical way, but in an attitude and a morality way, and their drives and the way that they played off of each other. And I thought that Chris Pine did a great job.
Yeah.
Just and he's fine. I've said that already. But
you can tell that he's attracted to her, but there's something else more important. Mm-hmm. We have to win the war. There's things that need to be done. It's not just him fawning over her, or vice versa. Like you said, it was very, very well done. Dr. Poison.
I'm going to be really honest. I might break your heart with this. I'm not super familiar with Dr. Poison from the comics. The most I remember was that it was a princess,
I'm not that...
Yeah, it was like a Japanese or a princess. I don't know what she did, but she was female and she did work for the Nazis. And that's kind of where I end.
How did you feel about the portrayal in the movie? Because some people think it was a little too over the top.
If she's a villain in a DC movie, go for it. People act like they've never seen any of the Batman movies. Yeah. That molded piece on her face, I wanted to know how it happened.
Yeah.
And if she hadn't been an interesting villain, I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she obviously did something right.
Yeah, I liked it. Because, I mean, you can see in her face she loves to see when people are getting poisoned, unfortunately, and people are dying. It's like, but at the same time, she's
super into it.
Yeah, she's a scientist, though. Mm-hmm. Like, she's incredibly intelligent, and she's creating all of these different compounds to do different things, and that's what I liked about it.
And a female villain.
And another female villain.
I hate to, like, do that, but it's really good that Wonder Woman, you knew... I think all of us pretty much assumed that they were going to go with Ares as the big bad. You can't ignore.
When they said World War I, it only made sense.
I mean, that is Captain America's Red Skull.
Red Skull, yeah.
I mean, which we should talk about that later too, Wonder Woman and Captain America. But I love the scene where they toss the poison into the room with all the generals and close the door, and she's up against the glass. It's almost like they're, like, almost, she's so sexually attracted to the pain that's happening in the room. And it's a very, if you watch it, it's a very dark moment. Yeah. And it plays well. So I thought she did a good job.
Her experiment worked.
And her experiment worked.
The excitement, yeah.
You know, it's like some people want to see how their cake comes out. Yeah. She wants to see if your face melts off. Like, what's more interesting?
Yeah. It's like, and the comparisons to Captain America, that scene, it's pretty much the Red Skull scene where he kills everyone with the Tesseract. It's pretty much the same thing.
I think that a lot of people are going to make the argument. I haven't heard it or seen it, but I assume, or maybe I'm starting it, and that makes sense because I'm quite the trendsetter. But it is very, you can draw a lot of comparisons to Captain America, but I think for very, very good reason. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that has to do with the DC universe has gone so dark with their movies. And they've really forgotten what a hero is. And when Marvel did the Captain America movie in World War, and they went so hard for it, I mean, there's something about that war, the war to end all wars, where we really actually knew who the villain was, and you knew what you were fighting for. That really makes everybody view those actions as more heroic. And DC needed to get back to featuring heroes. I don't care about damaged people. Yeah. I mean, like, Batman's always been great because he's damaged. Batman is every dude I've ever dated. Just completely laden with baggage, and you want to save them, but they're super busy and they can't call you at night. You know what I mean? That's Batman. That's his thing. But you can't do that with Superman. Yeah. And I was worried they were going to do that with Aquaman. But now that Wonder Woman was able to bring just that fiery golden age DC comic hero save the day, I'm actually excited to see what they do with Justice League.
That scene with her in the trenches.
Don't. I get goosebumps.
That's my favorite scene in the movie. It's so powerful. Chris Pine is talking about these people have been in this trench for a year and they haven't moved an inch. And she just steps up and she moves them all the way across the field. And I loved it. It was just one of the moments I cried.
I definitely cried that scene. And I'm very okay with myself as a person, so I can admit that there were 3 times that I cried during Wonder Woman, but it was so powerful on so many different levels. I mean, I could go off on multiple different tangents, and obviously, as a woman, having a female superhero turn to all of these people and say, cool, I'm going to just go take care of it then. And then actually go and take care of it. And do it. And just go forward. But not only that, but to be able to inspire that in the people around her that have given up. Yeah. And what a powerful message for right now. And that's what comics always were supposed to be. Powerful messages about the world around you. Right. But in a way that you could take it. And that was awesome. Yeah. I wasn't even annoyed one time during the movie that she didn't have pants on. And usually I'm such a feminist and I'm like, oh my God, put some clothes on. But they even explain that so well. When she and Chris Pine were in the street and he was like, you're not wearing any clothes. And she's like, well, what do these women wear to battle? Yeah. It was like, calm down. I loved it. The trench scene, I think, it will go down in history as one of the better scenes in any comic book movie.
Yeah. When she stands there and she's just holding the shield.
Oh, and it's just like, and she looks over and she sees that they're with her and she feels, you can just see that emotion on her face of like teamwork and almost like she's been trained to fight with the other Amazons.
Yeah.
She's ready to lead. She's ready to save. And she's finally got strangers who are willing to do that with her. It was great. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, she jumps into the tower and she just fucks everyone up.
She just ruins their life, man. And every time she lost her shit and started wrecking balling through the Nazis, I would get really excited.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. And you know, you're sitting there and you got that one tear in your face, but you're also super excited to see somebody bleeding to death. And you're like, I have so many emotions right now.
Yeah.
How is this happening?
Yeah. And Chris Pine holds up the tank door, and she's like, Diana.
Shield!
Yeah.
I loved it.
So sick.
Because that was Robin Wright Penn. Killed it. I mean, she killed it. I don't say the name correctly. In the movie, they were saying Antiope.
Yeah.
It's not how I have ever said it in my head, but I obviously don't read great. But the fight on the beach with the Amazons and her and him watching her hit the shield, fly over it, and then release the trifecta, the 3 arrows.
Yeah.
And him being just in awe of that moment and then recreating it later with Diana, I thought was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was
it's
such
also
a great
respect to a great technique that worked. It's like, let's do it.
It's a man and a woman honoring each other's abilities and capabilities, and just that balance of equality in a comic book movie when they usually play it so differently. I mean, you hate me because I always make fun of Superman. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this. But
I don't like him either.
The way I like Superman,
I don't.
But the way they have treated Lois Lane in the newer Superman movies gave me a complete lack of hope in how the DC universe was going to handle a female character. And when Zack Snyder's
better than the old Lois Lane,
the one from the Christopher Reeve movies.
Yeah, she's a step up.
Is she though?
Yeah, she's a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter that doesn't know that she's staring at the love of her life every day at work. She's an idiot.
Yeah, but... Ugh.
The glasses and he slouches. He sounds the same.
I mean, he's always hot, too. Like, you know that. There's like 12 hot men in any 1 mile radius around an American woman at any point. You notice them. You know them.
She doesn't know who he is.
Lois Lane, though, in the most current movies, acts as a catalyst for getting in trouble in order to be saved. Whereas, you don't respect her. And
I feel like she was really good in Man of Steel.
Yeah, Man of Steel was much better, though, than Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
Or the Martha Chronicles, as I lovingly refer to it.
Because I see what you mean. Because in BVS, the movie begins with her having to be saved.
I think she gets saved 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Literally, after the Martha scene, or right before it, when she's drowning or something, I remember turning to
after the Martha scene.
Whatever ex-boyfriend I was watching it with and saying, is she really going to get saved again right now? Because this is getting ridiculous.
I think it is 3 times.
Yeah, it's 3 or 4 times. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And you flip that script and you see a movie that's done with 2 people who are very attracted to one another, obviously, have great chemistry, are building something very special between them, but who don't need to rely on each other. It's such a better backbone for character arcs, for story development, for caring as an audience, and I hope that it bleeds over into other superhero films.
Yeah.
One person does not have to be portrayed as weaker than the other if they both have something to bring to the table.
Exactly. And that's the thing that every other superhero movie does. They find a way to make someone else seem less of a person in order to raise the other one. It shouldn't work that way.
Mm-mm.
You should have 2 strong people that come together to make a strong whole. That's how it should be. But let's talk about how naive she is.
I love it,
in certain moments. It's so
Look,
cute.
a baby!
It's so genuine.
The baby was so cute. She's never seen a baby before. Yeah. She's very similar and very different, but there's that kind of Mila Jovovich in Fifth Element feel to her.
Right.
Like, she's here, she can save the world, but she's also thrilled to death with the way that ice cream tastes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
You should be very proud.
You should be very proud. And even the way that plays out towards the end, I mean, it could have been so cheesy. that final fight with Ares where she's saying, I believe in love. But it felt more like a full circle awakening. Because Diana in the beginning of the film is like screaming for them to go protect humanity. Like, this is my job. I was made for this. I am going to go save them because they need it. And then I remember specifically the face and all the emotions when she's walking into the trenches and the soldiers are being wheeled past her and they're missing their legs and they're dying and you can see her pain, and there's so much growth built off of that innocence that she had. It was just great.
Yeah.
You're not ever really allowed to see an innocent superhero that works.
Yeah.
If you look at Iron Fist, the Netflix show, they tried to do innocence with him, and he came across like a millennial with a man bun who should be doing yoga. He just didn't work. I don't know if I'm
ever going to see it, really.
Okay, well,
I think I have to because I have to review it.
You have to review it, and I want to be there for it. I don't have to be part of it if this doesn't go over well, but I want to just watch what you have to say about it. But, there's something really beautiful about watching that journey of hers. And it could have been done terribly.
Oh, yeah.
They could have gone full throttle, in your face. I am Diana. I'm going to be better than everyone. I am here stomping around.
Because that's the easy way.
That's the easy way. It takes a lot of strength, and I am pleased with the directorial vision that she had to do that. Because that, while it is a beautiful performance by an actress in a film, it was pulled out of her by the director. Exactly. And by a director with great vision for how that should go. And it worked. And it mirrors the comic, and it mirrors the Golden Age feel, and it just touches you.
Yeah. Like, that final fight with Ares, I liked it, but like you were saying, it's so Zack Snyder-y, it's so CGI heavy. And what did you think about the bait and switch of who was Ares?
I was cool with it.
Okay, me too.
I didn't think it was going to be that easy, but I also hadn't figured it out.
Yeah. And
for me, that was cool, because usually in comics, they telegraph pretty hard. And I can't remember the last time actually a comic had like a twist end with who the villain was. Maybe Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But not even really Winter Soldier. I love the actor, and his name flies out of my head, Lupin. Professor Lupin, who winds up being Ares.
Right. Yeah. I can't remember his name.
I'm going to IMDb that so hard later. The way that he played Ares as just someone who put thoughts in heads and watched what they did with them.
Yeah.
And really broke her heart, because she believed that human beings are naturally, intrinsically good, and Ares infects them. And he was just a great villain.
Yeah.
He was just a wonderful villain. I loved, too, just the scene where he is changing into Ares and he pulls the eye holes down in the mask.
Sick.
That was sick. That was beautiful ode to old school Greek mythology. Right. And it made me want to go home and play God of War, to tell you the truth. Like, I wanted to straight Kratos sit. But that's also kind of why I didn't like it. Was at that point, it turned into a video game. It turned away. Yeah, it was. It just, and I know that they have to aesthetically tie it into the other movies, but they also could have trusted her. And I wonder if that was her vision or if that was the studio.
I mean, it's the studio. They have to have the big third act. It has to be huge explosions, the hero versus villain. They have to.
It has to have the look. It has to tie in.
It has to look like Justice League when it comes out. It all has to fit.
It worked, again, because it had been done so well in the earlier acts. It was a little disappointing, because I thought I was finally free of Sucker Punch, and then it came back for me.
Yeah.
But it was good. I enjoyed a bold move with Trevor, right?
With what?
With actually killing Steve Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to do?
That's a bold move, though.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
I know, because they're done with the past.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do an Agent Trevor TV show that gets canceled early, so...
No, I hope not.
I think that would be time 2 that I cried.
Yeah,
or maybe 3.
Sure.
But...
Because when she screams, when the plane blows up, I was like, I can't. I can't right now.
And then she busts out of that very, like, Frank Miller just wrote this comic book, very stylized.
But that's why you get Zack Snyder, though.
And that's the interesting part, because it doesn't bother me that much when it's not, like I said, it doesn't bother me that much when it's not 100% of the movie.
Yeah.
And it was cool the way that she kind of went into berserker rage and started flying through the Nazi soldiers and killing them. It felt it was sick, man. It felt very comic book. It felt very expensive, glossy page, graphic novel, you know?
That's why you get Zack Snyder.
And he does that well, I guess, when he writes it and hands it over to someone else. Zack Snyder.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think that he feels it in the universe that he's my enemy. Like, I think that he knows from wherever he is. And it's a shame because he's done a couple of movies that I love, but when so many of your movies feel and look like the exact same movies to the point where someone else can direct a movie and you can say, that's a Snyder scene.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it's not good in the way that it's good when you say, hey, that's a very Kubrick scene, or hey, that's a very
like Nolan
kind of scene shot, yeah. Or well, I guess it would be really weird if a random Wes Anderson scene popped up in a comic book movie, but it's just it's more like a, hey, that felt like Michael Bay, you know? Like, it just like, okay, cool.
Let's be glad he's never done one, and he doesn't want to. So I hope he never does. It
would be like Batman and Robin if he did one. It would be a Joel Schumacher nipple suit fiasco if he ever did. It would be horrifying. I would watch it, but it would also be bad.
Could you imagine if Joel Schumacher did Wonder Woman?
No, I cannot, sir.
Oh my God, Poison Ivy. Jesus.
She had lip condoms, man. Do you remember?
We will be talking about Batman and Robin. We will do this
again. I
would
love to do the Batman and Robin one because they have so many thoughts on so many things that happen in that movie. Oh, man.
Nice to see you.
Oh, my God. I'm not into pun work. And I'm not into Arnold Schwarzenegger in whatever the shit outfit that was. Hitting on Vivica A. Fox. Do you remember she's in that movie?
Yeah.
She's like, what, one scene where she tries to like hump on Mr. Freeze.
Talk about the cold shoulder.
Oh my God. Like, I just can't stand bad puns. I cannot do it.
But away from the bad movie,
can we circle back around to that next week? Because
we will, for sure. Is there anything else you really, really loved? Or maybe some negatives? Because not every film is perfect.
One more thing that I did really love was Connie Nielsen as Hippolyta.
Yes.
She did an amazing job. She looked amazing. She brought an amazing poise to it. That's an easy character to throw away, to cast with a known but not important character. And I thought that they did really well to cast her that way, because if they do decide, obviously they used a newer origin story for Wonder Woman, with her being Zeus's daughter, the new 52 version, and her being the weapon herself. That's all newer.
Yeah.
And they can bring Hippolyta in to that storyline in a very cool way moving forward if they choose to, based on how they did it. There were obviously a couple of negatives. The crew that went with her and Steve into the war, I don't remember a single one of their names. They did nothing for me.
They were funny.
They were funny. Were they even funny, though? Or did you just feel bad for the PTSD singer and the dude they made wear the red fez cap?
Like, oh, God. Him, I thought he was really funny.
He was really funny. He had one of the coolest non-action-oriented scenes, which is where he and Wonder Woman were going back and forth in different languages.
I love that.
Which was awesome to watch.
I am both terrified and completely aroused.
Yeah, he was funny. They may have been too much comic relief.
I thought it was a good balance.
I'm just always happy to be able to laugh during a DC film.
Yeah. Instead
of have to really wonder if my mom's name is Martha too. Yeah.
Have you seen the meme where it's like, Hippolyta
is Greek for Martha?
It's Greek for Martha!
My favorite part too is gonna sound so mean, but my favorite part is that Wonder Woman is the first DC character in the new kind of universe that they're building that doesn't have daddy issues or mommy issues. She's normal, you know? I mean, she's as normal as you can be when you're a balling out of control, super hot Amazon demigoddess, you know? But, you know, she still can't date right, so that gives everybody else hope. I think they're going to go the Batman route with her instead of the Superman route in Justice League. Or maybe they'll leave her alone and just let her be an independent, crazy, awesome woman.
That's what I want. Like, I don't want her to have a love interest at all.
They always, and this might be too much for a very fun podcast, but they always devalue the female hero in a movie by attaching her to a love relationship.
Yep.
When in reality, it should play out like it did in Wonder Woman. Two people who are made stronger and better. And it doesn't matter if one has superpowers and the other one doesn't. They bring something better to one another. And that was such a great message to see in this film and such a great takeaway. And, you know, at the end of the day, it was not only a very enjoyable film and a very well done film, but I thought it was a very inspiring movie. For many different reasons.
Yeah.
You know, and just the idea, much like how Captain America was inspiring, to stand up when you know that something is wrong.
I love the first Captain America. I love that movie.
It is probably, and I change my mind every 3 days, but it's probably currently my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Winter Soldier is my favorite.
It's good, you know. I've spent many months trying to memorize that block of phrase that gets him to stop buying, mangoes and go fuck up a politician. Freight car, monkey sack, go. That's something that DC needed to get on, was having one movie that stood out from the pack.
Yeah.
And
that doesn't set up another fucking movie.
Yeah, and this one stands alone. And this one, obviously, it even... And I know that some people are going to use this as a negative. I see it as a positive, but it even ends in much the same way as Captain America, where the last scene takes place with them in the present. So that you know that this chapter of who they are has now completely played out and they're ready to be a hero now.
Yeah. And
you're done with that piece of it. Which is why, you know, killing off Trevor made sense. I just thought I wasn't ready. It was such a bold move. He's such a long-standing character in that universe.
That loss is going to make her stronger.
He's also 97 years old, probably, by the time she's trying to bone on Batman. So, yeah. He doesn't need to see that.
The picture, like, I love the fact that they started out in the present day.
Mm-hmm.
She sees the picture, and then she's looking at the picture again at the end, and it's like, this is why I fought for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I do need to work with Batman to form the Justice League to fight whatever's coming.
Because it is interesting in the timeline. This would be taking place after BVS. Superman's death at the end of BVS, and she and Batman at the funeral, unless I've just completely blocked BVS. Doesn't she have some words with Batman at the end of that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really did block that movie. And then you said, go watch the director's cut. It's better. And then there was like 3 hours of my life I'm never getting back, James.
It makes more sense.
So does the Wikipedia article. It doesn't mean I want to sit there and do it. I love you so much, so I watched it. But it was a good reminder. And it brought levity back into the universe. It brought a hero back in. They're gonna have to work on Batman. I enjoyed Ben Affleck as Batman, but he's not new anymore. There's been too many Batmans for them to try too many new things with him.
He's my favorite Batman.
He's your favorite Batman?
Batman and Bruce Wayne.
That's bold, sir.
Yeah.
That is a bold statement. You're just going to not even bring Christian Bale into the mix?
Christian Bale was great, but the reasons why I love Ben Affleck's version is not Christian Bale's fault. It's more on Nolan not knowing how to shoot fight sequences well. It's really shaky. People just fall down, and I can show you clips. Like, it's...
Because you saw my face. I was looking at you like, I don't know, James.
It's not in focus, and it's just not good. And my Batman is a lot bigger.
He is thick.
Yeah.
And I that word has, I think, the wrong connotations nowadays. But what I meant was he is muscular. He is... And he's... I know that Ben Affleck is not necessarily a short guy, but he's short by Hollywood standards. I think he's, 5'11"?
Not at all. Ben Affleck's tall.
How tall?
I don't know, but
I think,
he's 6-something.
I think of him as a little miniature man.
No, he's 6-something. We will find out and get back to that. But
I think, obviously, we can tell that Ben Affleck's not my favorite Batman. I was pleasantly surprised.
He's 6'4".
I mean, damn.
Yeah. 5'11". 6'4".
I think of him as a little bitty baby man. Like, standing next to Matt Damon asking for a cookie.
Matt Damon. No, but his Bruce Wayne was on point. He's the rich dickhead that everyone ignores and would never take seriously.
He was way better than Clooney. I'm going to give him that.
Anything was better than Clooney.
He was better than Kilmer, and I think Kilmer was pretty good. Yeah. He's better than Keaton, who...
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's like your creepy uncle that can play in Batman. I'm sorry.
The suit makes him look good.
Well, the suit would make me look good.
Yeah. The suit
and the power yoga.
Very well designed.
I am, for the first time since they started ramping up to take on Marvel, I am, for the first time following Wonder Woman, excited to see where the DC universe goes.
For sure.
And that, I think, is a big deal. Because for someone like me who knows comic books and loves comic books and sees any comic book movie that... I mean, I fucking sat through all of Suicide Squad. Obviously, I'm devoted, you know?
Talk about a missed opportunity.
It's not even a missed opportunity. It's just just diarrhea in a trash can that a baby threw up on that they called a movie and gave Will Smith an incredibly large paycheck to be part of. Like, I'll go fucking watch Hancock the next time I want to see you murder a movie. Like, go calm down. I think it's great. I think that it's a great time for DC. Yeah. Because Marvel has been running the show at the theaters. And DC has been doing a fairly good job on the small screen.
I mean, the movies are making money. BVS made over $800 million.
The Saw movies still make money, James.
That's true. That's very true.
I was about to make fun of Fast and the Furious, and then I realized that I love Fast and Furious, so let's keep cranking those out.
Oh, yeah.
And let's keep starring The Rock in them. You know what I mean? Because I don't think he realizes that we're soulmates, but I think I'm going to call him, and it's going to go over pretty well for me. Well, I mean, what did you think? Because I'm Marvel, and you're DC. And this I think, is the first time... DC. This is the first time we've ever been in agreement, I think, on if we loved something.
Wonder Woman, I've thought about this a lot. Wonder Woman is my third favorite comic book movie ever.
Ever?
Like, I love this movie.
It's definitely in my top 3 as well.
Yeah.
Which is... That's a lot. Because I've seen a lot of them.
I know. I've thought about this. Winter Soldier is my favorite. Nothing can beat Winter Soldier. Unless Infinity War is as great as I want it to be.
Yeah. That'll be an interesting one to review.
Yeah.
All the emotions.
That's going to be so much fun. But Winter Soldier, the first Avengers, Wonder Woman, Dark Knight, Logan.
I definitely think my favorite superhero movie of all time would be Jessica Alba's Fantastic Four. I can't even get it out of my mouth.
Get up.
I honestly don't know what my favorite one is. It's probably Captain America.
Nice.
It really is probably what was it, the first Avenger?
Yeah.
And maybe I've got a World War II fetish, man. I'm gonna put that on my Bumble profile.
I mean, there is one thing that Wonder Woman did that I wish the first Avenger did, which was taking Wonder Woman actually through the war and not just montages. If they gave me Captain America in the battlefield actually fighting, I think it would have been better. I think Wonder Woman did it and handled it so much better.
Yeah. And it's an interesting point because I hadn't thought about that, but it allows you to see almost that chaotic sense inside of her as she struggles with the emotions of the war. But they also didn't have to waste the time on her dancing around and entertaining troops.
Yeah.
Which was a big chunk of what Captain America was originally.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's going to be people who just poop all over Wonder Woman for being too similar to Captain America, but I think the point that they're missing is that both of these heroes came about around the same time, in the same age of comics, when comic books were there for a specific reason. And that was to give people who were afraid of the current state of the world and the war that they saw around them, give them something to hope for.
Yeah.
And I personally think that we need that now, just as much as they needed it then.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, like you said, it's a great time that this movie came out. Like, I gave it an A+ in my Vita review. I love this movie.
I'll go see it again in the theaters.
Yeah,
and that's
twice,
a lot
so I'm
of
going to see
money.
it again and again.
Yeah, I loved it. I can't wait to take my mother to it because she grew up with Wonder Woman, and I remember her telling me how scared she was about them doing Wonder Woman as a movie because they were going to ruin it. Because I mean, like, we all saw Halle Berry's Catwoman. Okay,
yeah,
we all saw Elektra. That fucking abortion. So this was great. It was great, and I loved it.
I'll even say Suicide Squad, because I did not like Margot Robbie's portrayal of Harley Quinn.
The only thing to like about Margot Robbie's portrayal of Harley Quinn is the way her ass looked in those booty shorts, which was epic.
CGI'd.
They did not.
Yeah.
Okay, I
They
can't...
CGI'd to make her shorts shorter and to make her ass more curved. You can find this.
James, I can't be doing 90 minutes of power yoga every morning so that I can get a Margot Robbie ass for you to tell me that it's CGI.
It's CGI.
Okay.
A lot of it was CGI.
That's
it's
disturbing.
Like, her purpose in that movie was to be a sexual object.
And
who's
that is
also crazy.
What was so great about Wonder Woman? No one fetishized her at all. Her beauty was mentioned. And I don't expect a bunch of men who meet her to not be like, wait, there was a whole island full of women like her and you left? Like, obviously you're going to say that. If I meet a Chris Pine and he came from an island full of other Chris Pines, I want to know where the boat goes that takes you to the Chris Pine Island. Because I've been looking for that man my whole life. But it wasn't grotesque, and it wasn't sexist, and it wasn't offensive. It was just man and woman.
Yeah.
Whereas Suicide Squad, the very first time we meet Black Widow in the Iron Man movie, and she does that, like, super hot, like, Scarlett Johansson's gorgeous.
Yeah, she is.
But that whole way that she slides under the ropes into the boxing ring, like, that gaze strips female superheroes of their power. And Wonder Woman just gave it all back to them. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
I cannot believe Margot Robbie's ass was CGI'd.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking to me, and I don't even want to buy her dinner. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even care.
All those scenes where they take time to just focus in on her ass, most of it is CGI.
Was Chris Evans' muscles CGI'd in Captain America?
No, that was all him.
Oh, thank God. Oh, my God. That would have broke my heart. What a double standard, right? Yeah. Why does he have to work out and she doesn't?
One thing I loved was you always make the women sexualized. Mm-hmm. And in this, it was on the other foot.
The scene where she walks in and he's getting out of the, not bathtub, but
whatever
like, I don't care, Chris Pine. And she's staring at him and she says, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, that's a big, oh, that's my watch." Hilarious. So
Would you
good.
say that you're the average?
Would you say you're the... I love, too, the scene later where he says, I'm better than average.
Yeah.
Average men, they don't get to be spies. Like, he slides into every dude you've ever met on Tinder ever in that scene, and it's so wonderful to watch because it's real and it's true and it's flirting.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that was it was a funny scene.
I personally don't have any negatives. I mean, I wish they would have explained what the gas was that the general was inhaling that made him super strong. But then it's like, who cares? Dr. Poison experiments with different things. Yeah. She was making him like a super soldier gas thing. Fuck it. I don't care.
I mean, I don't even care.
Yeah.
If I didn't question most of the other things that are happening in most of the other comic book movies, I think I can go with this. You know what I mean? Like, I still want to know where Marvel thinks Quicksilver's powers came from. Like, okay, you're right. Different podcast.
Yeah.
But
different. Yeah.
No movie is perfect, but this was as close to perfect as I think you can get.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I could probably pick apart almost anything, and people who've met me know how true that is.
Yeah.
But all I can really say is that the little group, I don't remember their names.
I don't either, actually.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
But, I mean, there's a lot coming at you.
Yeah.
And for people who are new to the Wonder Woman mythology, just being able to say Themyscira probably is a big deal. You know? Hippolyta. That's hard if you don't read Greek mythology. So
back on Robin Wright, though.
I just love her so much.
So when she came on screen the first time, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. All I see is Claire from House of Cards.
See, I've never watched House of Cards, so I'm free.
And then a minute later, I was good.
The beauty was her accent. It could have gone so wrong so quickly, and it worked really, really well.
Yeah.
And that really brought it up. She must have known that she was a demigoddess, though, right?
I mean,
She must have known that.
Yeah.
So I guess it was just kind of...
Because when she's dying, she's like the god killer. She was going to tell her that you are the god killer.
Right.
She died.
That makes
Spoilers.
sense. Spoiler! I just, dropped the hot bomb that Steve Trevor dies earlier. I was just like... Pfft.
Well, the name of the
It
podcast
says careful for spoilers. If you're here and you're sad and you're pissed off, it's your fault. Take some accountability for your actions.
So, any final thoughts?
No. I think I've said so much. It just came out of me like hot lava because I'm that excited about the movie.
Yeah, this was great. We have to do this more.
I want to do a Batman and Robin one.
Oh, we will. Because I love that movie.
You know, you've got a lot of friends that can do a lot of really, like strong ones with you. I want all the crap movies from now on. I want your Batman and Robins and your Suicide Squads and shit. I'll see Transformers 7 with you.
Oh, God. Okay.
Is it 7 that we're on now?
We're on 5.
5?
Yeah.
I remember one of them, whatever the first one without the weird thumbs chick.
Megan Fox.
Thotum, yeah. I remember the first one that didn't star her in it. And about halfway through it, realizing I had no idea what was going on, and I thought someone had accidentally given me acid. That's how confused I was. So, yeah, this was great. I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Lola will be back very, very soon, because we have to do Batman and Robin, and we have to do Suicide Squad. That has to be done.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to watch it again. So, I will bring the wine.
Yes.
So that we can get through that.
God.
Well, thank you for having me, James.
Yeah, this was so much fun. Guys, follow me all over social media at Careful for Spoilers. Find me on YouTube at Careful for Spoilers. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.
Bye.